Captain Do-hyun Park did not want to be at the auction today. The smell of too many bodies packed into the old warehouse made his nose wrinkle. He stood at the back of the crowd, watching aliens and humans push against each other to get closer to the stage. "Another waste of my time," he muttered, checking his wrist computer. His ship, the Stellar Wind, needed to leave New Singapore in 6 hours. The cargo holds were full of machine parts that had to reach the outer colonies on time. A loud bang made everyone jump. The auctioneer, a fat man with 3 chins, hit his desk with a wooden hammer. "Ladies and gentlemen," he shouted, "welcome to today's special auction." Do-hyun almost turned to leave, but then he saw her. The alien woman walked onto the stage with her head held high. Her skin was a soft blue color that seemed to glow under the harsh lights. Unlike the other slaves who kept their eyes down, she looked straight ahead. Her silver hair fell in waves down her back, and her clothes, though simple, were clean and neat. "Start the bidding at 50,000 credits," the auctioneer yelled. "Look at this fine specimen from the outer reaches, healthy, strong, and trained in household duties." Do-hyun felt sick. He hated slavery, but it was still legal in this part of space. The Confederation turned a blind eye to it on frontier worlds like New Singapore. Usually, he stayed far away from these auctions, but something about this woman caught his attention. She didn't act like a slave at all. The crowd started bidding. A green-skinned merchant raised the price to 60,000. A human woman in expensive clothes offered 75,000. Do-hyun watched the alien woman's face carefully. For just a moment, her eyes met his. He saw something there: intelligence, purpose, and maybe a hint of hope. 100,000 credits, Do-hyun said suddenly. His voice carried across the room. People turned to stare at him. The alien woman's expression didn't change, but he saw her shoulders relax slightly. 150,000, shouted the human woman in expensive clothes. Do-hyun took a deep breath. The price was already more than he had planned to spend on supplies for the next 3 months. But his gut told him this was important. 200,000 credits, he said firmly. The room went quiet. The auctioneer looked around eagerly, but no one spoke up. "Sold." The hammer came down with a bang. To the gentleman in the back. As Do-hyun walked to the front to pay, he saw the alien woman's lips curve into a tiny smile. It happened so quickly he almost missed it. He wondered if he had imagined it. The paperwork took 30 minutes. Do-hyun handed over his credit chip, trying not to think about his empty account. The slave collar around the woman's neck was removed, and she was brought to him. "Your property, sir," the auctioneer said with an oily smile. "My name is Do-hyun Park," he told the woman quietly as they walked out of the warehouse. "You'll have proper quarters on my ship. What should I call you?" She looked at him directly then. Her eyes were deep purple with silver flecks that seemed to move like stars. "I am called Era," she said. Her voice was musical and clear. "Thank you, Captain Park. I think you will find this purchase more valuable than you expect." Do-hyun stopped walking. There was something about the way she said it, like she knew something he didn't. But when he looked at her again, her face was calm and empty. "We need to hurry," he said at last. "The Stellar Wind leaves in 5 hours." As they walked to his ship, Do-hyun couldn't shake the feeling that he had just stepped into something much bigger than a simple slave auction. He didn't know if that was good or bad, but he was sure of one thing. Era was not what she seemed to be. The spaceport buzzed with activity around them, but Do-hyun's mind was already racing ahead. What had he gotten himself into? And why did he have the strange feeling that Era had somehow chosen him, rather than the other way around? The Stellar Wind left New Singapore's spaceport right on schedule. Do-hyun stood on the bridge, watching the planet shrink behind them. His new passenger was in the quarters next to his own, settling in. "Captain," said First Officer Jae-yun Lee, walking up to him. "The alien woman's quarters are ready, but—" She paused, looking worried. "What is it?" Do-hyun asked. The ship's computer is picking up strange energy readings from her room. Nothing dangerous, but unusual. Do-hyun nodded slowly. Keep tracking those readings. I'll talk to her myself. The guest quarters were simple but comfortable. When Do-hyun pressed the door chime, Era's musical voice called out, "Please enter, Captain." She sat in a chair by the window, watching the stars. She had changed into clean clothes from the ship's stores, simple black pants, and a white shirt. Her blue skin seemed to glow softly in the starlight. "How are you finding your quarters?" Do-hyun asked, staying near the door. "They are perfect. Thank you." Era turned to face him. "You have questions. Please ask them." Do-hyun wasn't surprised she knew. "You're not an ordinary slave. The way you carry yourself, the way you speak, who are you really?" Era smiled. "You are observant, Captain. You are also kind. You bought me to save me from worse owners, even though you don't believe in slavery. These are the qualities I was hoping for." Do-hyun caught the slip immediately. "My people are called the Lumini," Era said after a pause. "We have been watching humanity for a long time." Do-hyun sat down in the other chair. "Why reveal this to me now?" "Because your ship's sensors have already detected my energy signature. And because I trust you." She leaned forward. "Your species is young, but remarkable. You build, you explore, you dream. But you are also in danger." A soft beep came from the computer panel on the wall. First Officer Lee's voice came through. "Captain, those energy readings are getting stronger." "It's all right, Jae-yun," Do-hyun said, watching Era. "Continue monitoring, but take no action for now." Era stood up and walked to the window. "Your technology is impressive for your level of development. But there is so much more to learn. My people could teach you." "Why come to us as a slave?" Do-hyun asked. "Why not open contact through official channels?" "Because your government is not what you think it is." Era turned back to him, her purple eyes serious. "There are things hiding in the shadows of your confederation, dangerous things. We needed to make contact quietly with someone who would listen. And you chose me. We studied many humans. You were the best choice. Honest, capable, and open-minded." She smiled again. "The auction was arranged. We knew you would be there." Do-hyun stood up, processing this information. "So I didn't really choose you at all. You chose to be the kind of person who would help someone in need. That was your choice, Captain Park." The ship's computer beeped again. "Captain." Jae-yun's voice was tense. "3 Confederation ships just appeared on long-range scanners. They're asking about our new passenger." Do-hyun looked at Era. Her face was calm, but he saw worry in her eyes. "What haven't you told me?" he asked quietly. "Much," she admitted. "And we don't have much time. Those ships are not what they appear to be. Captain Park, I need you to trust me. Everything depends on it." Do-hyun walked to the door, then stopped. "I'll trust you for now, Era. But I need the whole truth, and soon. My crew's safety comes first." "Of course," she said softly. "That's another reason we chose you." As Do-hyun hurried back to the bridge, his mind raced. In just a few hours, his simple cargo run had turned into something much more complicated. And somehow, he knew this was only the beginning. Do-hyun couldn't sleep. The stellar wind was quiet during night shift, but his mind kept racing. He decided to check the ship's systems one more time before trying to rest. When he reached the bridge, the screen showed something strange. Someone was accessing the ship's database from Era's quarters. Do-hyun watched the data streams flow across his screen. They moved too fast for him to read. "Computer, what files are being accessed?" he asked. "Confederation fleet movements, trade routes, and defense systems," the computer replied. Do-hyun hurried to Era's quarters. When he entered, she was standing at the computer terminal. Her fingers moved quickly across the screen, and her blue skin glowed brighter than usual. "I should have known you would check," she said without turning around. "You're going through restricted files. Du Hyun said, but he wasn't angry. He was curious. Era turned to face him. Yes, I need to understand how deep the problem goes. She pointed to the screen. Look at these ship movements. They make no sense for normal patrol routes. Do Hyun looked at the data. She was right. Confederate ships were gathering in places they shouldn't be. What does it mean? The Void Hunters have taken control of more ships than we thought. Era's voice was grim. They are preparing something big. Tell me about these Void Hunters, Du Hyun said. He sat down, ready to listen. They look like anything they want to look like. They take the shape of humans, aliens, even machines. Era's purple eyes were serious. They have been infiltrating your government for years. We Lumini have been trying to stop them. Why target humans? Because your species has potential. Great potential. Era smiled slightly. The Void Hunters want to control you before you become too strong. My people want to help you grow. The ship's intercom buzzed. Captain, First Officer Jae-yun's voice was urgent. Message from the Confederation ships. They're ordering us to stop for inspection. Do Hyun looked at Era. They're not really Confederation ships, are they? No, she said softly. They are hunting me. The data I carry could expose their entire operation. Do Hyun walked to the computer and pressed some buttons. Jae-yun, tell them our engines are having problems. We need 30 minutes to fix them. Yes, Captain, Jae-yun replied. That will not fool them for long, Era said. I know, but it gives us time to make a plan. Do Hyun turned to her. You chose me because you thought I would listen. Well, I'm listening now. Tell me everything. Era nodded. The Void Hunters fear humanity's future. In 200 years, you could be stronger than them. They want to make sure that never happens. And the Lumini? What do you want? We want allies, not slaves. Partners, not puppets. Era's voice was firm. Humanity deserves its chance to reach the stars. The ship shuddered slightly. First Officer Jae-yun's voice came through again. Captain, they're powering up weapons. Do Hyun made his decision. Chief Engineer Kim, he called over the intercom. Yes, Captain. Ta-won Kim's voice answered. How fast can you get us to maximum speed? 5 minutes if I push the engines hard. Do it, Do Hyun ordered. He looked at Era. I'm choosing to trust you. I hope I'm right. You are, Era said. Her smile was bright in the dim room. And Captain, thank you for listening. As the Stellar Wind's engines roared to life, Do Hyun knew he had just committed his ship to something much bigger than running from inspection. He had chosen a side in a war he didn't fully understand yet, but looking at Era's determined face, he felt he had made the right choice. The Stellar Wind raced through space, its engines pushing hard. In the engine room, Chief Engineer Ta-won Kim worked quickly, his hand steady as he adjusted the power flows. Engines at 90%, Captain, he reported through the intercom. I can give you more, but not for long. On the bridge, Do Hyun watched the pursuing ships on the main screen. They were gaining slowly. First Officer Jae-yun sat at her station, her face tense as she worked. 3 more ships just appeared ahead of us. Jae-yun reported. They're trying to trap us. Era stood near Do Hyun's chair, her blue skin glowing brighter than usual. They're more desperate than I thought, she said quietly. They must know what I discovered. Which is what, exactly? Do Hyun asked. The ship shook as a warning shot passed nearby. The Void Hunters have copies of themselves in every major position in the Confederation government, Era explained. They are planning to start a war between human colonies. When humans are busy fighting each other, the Void Hunters will take complete control. The bridge crew looked at each other with worried faces. Another shot rocked the ship. Shields at 70%, Jae-yun reported. Do Hyun pressed a button on his chair. Ta-won, we need more speed. The engines can't take much more, the engineer replied. But I have an idea. The alien woman, her energy signature. If we could hide it, maybe they would stop chasing us. Era nodded. He's right. I can help with that. Do it, Do Hyun ordered. Taiwan, meet Era in engineering. As Era left the bridge, the pursuing ships fired again. The stellar wind shook hard. Shields at 50%. Jae-yun said, we can't take much more of this. In engineering, Taiwan worked with Era to connect her energy signature to the ship's power systems. Her blue glow grew stronger as they worked. This should mask your energy readings, Taiwan said, making final adjustments. But I've never seen technology like yours before. Your understanding of energy is impressive, Era told him. Humans learn quickly. That's one reason the Void Hunters fear you. On the bridge, Do-hyun watched the enemy ships getting closer. Then suddenly, their sensors seemed to lose focus. They're slowing down, Jae-yun reported, surprised. Their scanners can't find us properly anymore. Do-hyun smiled. Good work, Taiwan and Era. Now let's get out of here. The stellar wind changed course, heading for the safety of a nearby nebula. The pursuing ships fell behind, their sensors confused by Era's masked energy signature. It worked, Era said when she returned to the bridge. But they won't give up. They'll find other ways to track us. Then we'll find other ways to hide, Do-hyun said firmly. My crew is committed now. We're in this together. Era looked around the bridge at the determined faces of the crew. Your trust means everything, she said. Now I can show you what the Lumini really have to offer humanity. As the stellar wind entered the nebula's swirling gases, Do-hyun felt both pride and worry. His crew had performed perfectly, but they were now involved in something huge and dangerous. The real question was, what would the Void Hunters do next? Captain, Jae-yun called out suddenly. I'm picking up a signal. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. Era's face lit up. Ah, she said softly. Right on time. Captain, prepare yourself. You're about to meet more of my people. The strange signal grew stronger as a large shape appeared in the nebula. Do-hyun and his crew watched in amazement as a ship 3 times the size of the stellar wind emerged from the colorful gases. It glowed with the same soft blue light as Era's skin. The Lumini ship, Era said proudly. One of our smaller ones. Smaller, Jae-yun whispered, staring at the massive vessel. The alien ship sent out a beam of light that touched the stellar wind gently. Do-hyun felt a slight tingling sensation, and suddenly a tall figure appeared on their bridge. It was another Lumini, his skin a deeper blue than Era's. I am Commander Rin, the new Lumini said. His voice was deep and clear. Era, you have done well. And Captain Park, we thank you for your help. You know my name? Do-hyun asked. We have watched your people for a very long time, Rin explained. For 500 years, we have protected humanity without showing ourselves. Era stepped forward. Show them, she said to Rin. Show them what we have done. Rin raised his hand, and suddenly the bridge was filled with moving images. They showed Lumini ships fighting strange, dark vessels near Earth and other human colonies. The dates on the images went back hundreds of years. All these times, Rin said, when humanity thought they were alone, we were there, keeping the Void Hunters away, giving you time to grow. But now we can no longer stay hidden, Era added. The Void Hunters have grown too strong in your government. They plan to destroy everything humans have built. Do-hyun watched the images with growing understanding. The Confederation's strange decisions lately. The new laws that don't make sense. All part of their plan, Rin confirmed. They want to start fights between human colonies. Then they will take control while you are weak from fighting each other. First Officer Jae-yun spoke up. Why help us? What do the Lumini gain? Era smiled at the question. We remember when we were young, like humanity is now. Other species helped us grow. Now we do the same for others. It is our way. The Void Hunters fear what humanity will become, Rin said. We see your potential. In time, You could be one of the strongest species in the galaxy. But first, you must survive this threat. The ship's computer beeped suddenly. More Confederation ships approaching. Jai-Yun reported. At least 10 of them. They are not all real Confederation ships, Era said quickly. Some are Void Hunter vessels in disguise. The rest are being controlled by Void Hunters who have taken human form. Do-Hyun stood up from his captain's chair. What do we do now? Now, Rin said, we show you how to fight them. The Lumini will no longer hide in the shadows. Today, we stand with humanity openly. The big Lumini ship moved closer to the stellar wind. More blue lights appeared in the nebula as other Lumini ships arrived. Captain Park, Era said softly, are you ready to help save your species? Do-Hyun looked at his crew. He saw determination in their faces. They had all heard the truth, and they were ready to act. Yes, he said firmly. Tell us what we need to do. As the enemy ships approached, Do-Hyun realized that everything had changed. His simple merchant ship was now part of humanity's first alliance with an advanced alien species. The real fight was about to begin. The enemy ships came out of lightspeed in a wide circle around the stellar wind and the Lumini vessels. Do-Hyun counted 15 Confederation ships, their weapons ready to fire. They're charging weapons, First Officer Jai-Yun reported from her station. Her voice was steady despite the danger. Security Chief Hae-Newell stepped onto the bridge, carrying strange-looking weapons. Era brought these, she said. They work against the Void Hunters when they try to change shape. Era took one of the weapons and showed the crew how to use it. The energy beam disrupts their ability to hold a false form, she explained. When hit, they return to their natural shape. And what is their natural shape? Hae-Newell asked. Before Era could answer, the first shots hit the stellar wind. The ship shook, but the Lumini vessel's protective field kept them safe. We're being hailed, Jai-Yun said. They're ordering us to surrender. On the main screen, a face appeared. It looked like a normal human admiral, but something was wrong with his eyes. They seemed to shift color as he spoke. This is Admiral Chen of the Confederation Fleet. Surrender the Lumini spy, and we will let your crew live. Do-Hyun stood up straight. I don't think you're really Admiral Chen, he said clearly. The Admiral's face changed. His skin rippled like water, and his eyes turned completely black. Clever human, he said in a different voice. But it doesn't matter. You'll all die here. The screen went dark, and the attack began. But the Lumini ships were ready. They moved in perfect formation, their blue energy beams cutting through space. 3 Void Hunter ships destroyed, Jai-Yun reported. But more are coming. Suddenly, the stellar wind shuddered. We're being boarded, Hae-Newell reported. They're cutting through the lower hull. Era turned to Do-Hyun. Now we fight them directly. Are your people ready? Do-Hyun nodded. Hae-Newell, take your security team to the lower decks. Era will lead you. As Era and Hae-Newell's team moved out, the ship shook again. On the security screens, Do-Hyun watched dark shapes move through the lower corridors. They seemed to flow like liquid metal. Those are Void Hunters in their true form, Commander Rin explained. They cannot hold their shape when they are angry or fighting. In the lower decks, Era and Hae-Newell's team encountered the first Void Hunters. The aliens looked like moving shadows, but Era's weapons worked perfectly. Each hit made them lose their stolen shapes. They're retreating, Hae-Newell reported through the intercom, but there are more coming through the breach. On the bridge, Do-Hyun watched the space battle through the main window. The Lumini ships moved with amazing grace, their weapons cutting through the enemy fleet. But the Void Hunters fought hard, desperate to stop their secret from getting out. Captain, Jai-Yun called out suddenly. I'm picking up more ships coming out of lightspeed. Lots of them. Do-Hyun held his breath, waiting to see if they were friends or enemies. Then he saw the markings on the ships. Those are real Confederation ships, he said with relief. Someone in the government got our message. The new ships joined the battle, helping the Lumini destroy the Void Hunter vessels. In the lower decks, Era and Haynul's team finished dealing with the boarding party. The battle was turning in their favor, but Du-hyun knew this was just the beginning. The Void Hunters had hidden among humans for centuries. Driving them out would not be easy. But looking at his brave crew working together, with their new Lumini allies, he felt hope. Humanity had just taken its first step into a larger universe, and they were ready for the challenge. 1 week after the battle, the stellar wind docked at Earth's main space station. Du-hyun looked out the window at the dozens of ships gathered there. Lumini vessels floated next to human ships, their blue glow lighting up space. In the station's main meeting room, Du-hyun sat with Era and Commander Rin. Across the table, the real Admiral Chen and other high-ranking Confederation officers listened carefully to their story. "We have confirmed 23 Void Hunters in government positions," Admiral Chen said. His real eyes, unlike his imposters, were steady and clear. "Thanks to the Lumini detection devices, we're finding more every day." "The Void Hunters are running now," Era added. "They know their plan has failed, but some are still hiding among humans." Do-hyun spread out a star map on the table. "We've marked the places where Void Hunter ships have been seen in the past month. They're gathering here, in the Dark Cloud sector." Commander Rin pointed to several spots on the map. "The Lumini fleet is ready to help hunt them down. But we need human ships too. The Void Hunters know our tactics after centuries of fighting us. Human captains think differently. Together, we can surprise them." Admiral Chen nodded slowly. "The Confederation Council has voted to form an official alliance with the Lumini. Captain Park, we want you to lead the first joint fleet." Do-hyun looked surprised. "Me? You were the first to trust us," Era said softly. "You listened when others would not. Your crew proved that humans and Lumini can work together perfectly." "Speaking of your crew," Admiral Chen said, "they have all agreed to stay with you, even with the dangers ahead." In the station's observation deck, First Officer Jae-yun and Security Chief Haynul were teaching some Lumini officers about human combat tactics. Chief Engineer Ta-won worked with Lumini engineers, learning about their advanced technology. "Your crew is special," Commander Rin told Du-hyun. "They adapt quickly. They don't fear what is different. These are the qualities humanity will need in the years ahead." Do-hyun watched Earth turning slowly below them. "When I bought Era at that auction, I never imagined it would lead to this." Era smiled. "Sometimes the biggest changes start with small choices. Your choice to help someone you thought was in trouble opened the door to a new future for both our peoples." "The joint fleet will be ready in 3 days," Admiral Chen said, standing up. "The stellar wind will be upgraded with Lumini technology. You'll lead 30 ships, 15 human, 15 Lumini." As the others left the room, Era stayed behind with Do-hyun. "Are you ready for this responsibility?" she asked. Do-hyun looked at the star map again. "A week ago, I was just a cargo ship captain. Now I'm leading the first human Lumini fleet." He smiled. "But yes, I'm ready. We've seen what we can achieve together." Through the window, they watched a group of human and Lumini ships practicing formation flying. Their different styles of movement were starting to blend, creating new patterns in space. "This is just the beginning," Era said. "The Void Hunters are only one threat. There are many challenges ahead as humanity moves into the wider galaxy. Then we'll face them together," Do-hyun said firmly. "As allies." 6 months had passed since the first battle. The stellar wind looked very different now. Lumini technology glowed softly alongside human systems. The ship had become a symbol of what humans and Lumini could achieve together. Do-hyun stood on his new bridge, watching the combined fleet move through space. 30 ships had grown to 300. Humans learned Lumini tactics quickly, while the Lumini adapted human creativity into their plans. "Fleet is in position, Captain," First Officer Jae-yun reported. Her console now showed both human and Lumini data streams. She had learned to read both easily. The last Void Hunter stronghold is just ahead, Era said. She wore a Lumini command uniform now, but kept the simple style she had when Du-hyun first met her. Our scouts report 20 ships defending it. The past months had been busy. Together, the human Lumini fleet had chased the Void Hunters from human space. Many had fled to distant sectors, but their main force made a final stand here, at their hidden base. All ships report ready, Security Chief Hae-Newell said from her station. Her team now included both humans and Lumini working together perfectly. Do-hyun pressed the fleet-wide communication button. This is Fleet Captain Park. Today we finish what began 6 months ago. The Void Hunters thought they could keep our peoples apart. Instead, they brought us together. All ships, battle positions. The fleet moved forward as one. Human ships provided cover, while Lumini vessels struck with precise energy beams. The Void Hunters fought back hard, but they couldn't match the combined strength of both species working together. Their defense line is breaking, Chief Engineer Ta-won reported. He had merged human and Lumini engineering methods to make their weapons even stronger. The battle was fierce but quick. The Void Hunters had lost their advantage of surprise and secrecy. Within 2 hours, their base was destroyed, and their ships were either captured or destroyed. Later, in the Stellar Winds meeting room, Do-hyun sat with Era and Commander Rin. A message from Earth appeared on the screen. The Confederation Council and Lumini High Command had made their decision. They're creating a permanent joint fleet, Do-hyun read aloud. And they want the Stellar Wind to lead it. Your ship has proven what is possible, Rin said. Now others will follow your path. There's more, Era pointed to the screen. You've been chosen as humanity's first ambassador to the Lumini homeworld. Do-hyun looked surprised. Me? But I'm just a ship captain. You're the human who changed everything, Era said softly. You trusted me when you had no reason to. You helped the Lumini when others would have turned us away. Who better to represent humanity? Through the window, Earth shone brightly. New ships were being built in orbit, combining the best of both species' technology. Young humans and Lumini trained together, learning from each other. What do you think the future holds? Do-hyun asked Ara. Great things, she answered. The Void Hunters thought humanity wasn't ready for the wider galaxy. They were wrong. Together, we will go further than either of us could alone. Do-hyun smiled as he watched the fleet. Everything had started with one choice, to help someone he thought needed saving. Now that choice had opened up the stars to humanity. Ready for our next adventure? He asked his crew. Always, Captain, they answered together. Human and Lumini voices joined as one. The stellar wind turned toward deep space, leading the way to humanity's new future among the stars.